Alrighty, so we're just waiting for Mohammed to join. If you also would like to send questions, and you can send those questions in right now, I'm happy to answer Lakehead specific questions while we wait for Mohammed to join. So we have a question about whether this fall intake will be online or offline. So the answer, unfortunately, is not clear quite yet. So what we are doing, our senior management team here at Lakehead is monitoring the situation extremely closely. And we are taking the advice from public health authorities of Canada and the government of Canada. Our number one priority is the health and safety of our staff, students, and our faculty members. And so in order to ensure that health and safety, it's too early to make the decision. We are exploring several options, of course. And as soon as the news is released of whether we will be back in person, whether we'll be doing online, whether there will be a variety of options, we'll definitely announce that on our website. So there is a lakeheadu.ca/about/coronavirus. All of those updates are on there. So the next question we have, how is COVID affecting Canada? So as our viewers can appreciate, we are being affected by COVID-19. We have currently been put into a stay-at-home order in most of our provinces. Some of those have actually already started to be lifted, though. Lakehead University's classes for the spring and summer semesters are already online. So I'll just take 1 minute to join here. I'm happy to see so many viewers today. Hi, Mohammed.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Awesome. So I'd love to get started. I'll start off with an introduction of myself for those of you who haven't been able to join us for one of our daily lives. My name is Jordan. I am the International New and Social Media Officer here for Lakehead University. What that means is I help oversee our online presence as well as our digital efforts overseas, which includes Instagram Lives, live webinars, all that sort of stuff, and quite a bit more, of course. But today we're joined by Mohammed, and I'll pass it off to him to do a brief introduction.
So I'm Mohammed Maz, and I'm doing my final semester here. I'm about to graduate. Probably I'll be getting my transcripts by the end of this month. So I'm from Thunderwolf campus, and my hometown is Bangalore, India. So I'm from India, and as I guess most of the viewers are from India, if I'm not wrong, as you said. And about me, I guess I always look for adventures, which over here in Canada, I've been to few provinces, like I guess I told Jordan as well, I had been to Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba, as well as I've been to GTA. And over here in Thunderbird, I like exploring the local attractions. And initial 2 months, I was I was just roaming around here and there. Like there was a lot of good lakes over here. And among the many lakes, the one which I liked a lot was the Past Lake near the Sleeping Giant. So there are a lot of good places over here. Like a lot of local attractions, and you can try a lot of food over here. There's a lot of good Italian food, which I had tried, and there's Indian food as well. And there are a couple of bunch of restaurants which has opened just like 6 months ago.
Awesome. So I do see a question, is the university completely closed now, even staff in the offices? So what we're doing is we're doing a required on-site working model. So what that means is only the staff that are necessary or required to be on campus, such as food services, a limited number of cleaners, and our upper management team are on campus. Everyone is working remotely otherwise, including all of our faculty and staff, basically. And for our spring summer courses, our faculty are hosting the classrooms from their own home, and our students, of course, are studying at a distance. So whether they're back home now or they're still in Thunder Bay or Aurelia, they're joining in on a variety of different online or remote methods. So it's very interesting to see. Online learning for Lakehead University is not something new. We've been doing it for a number of years, and we're actually well known for being leaders in online learning. But of course, having the entire institution and all of our courses go online, that is something new. But from what we've heard from our students, it's been going quite smoothly. So I know that you mentioned that you love exploring and you love adventuring, and that's kind of like your go-to pastime, I'll say.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any photos to share with the audience of some of those adventures that you've been on?
Yes, I can actually. I recently downloaded a few. I can just click my camera and show you.
For sure, yeah.
This had been to Mount McKay, if I'm not wrong.
So it looks like you went to Mount McKay in the fall there
Yeah,
with
it
the
was in the
leaves
spring,
changing
and all
colors.
you can see the red background flowers there. And this is one of the hunting which I had been.
Okay, yeah.
And yeah, I'd been to hunting
Awesome.
with a bunch of my friends.
Yep.
And with this, and this is one of the good pictures which I had taken with the fox.
Oh, okay, yeah, I see it there in the bottom left.
Yeah,
So
these are a
was it
bunch
on
of
a drive out to one
yeah,
of your
yeah,
destinations?
yeah, exactly. So I can see there are some bunch of pictures I've taken. There are a lot of them. There are like thousands of them, but I thought these are a few which I can show to the audience.
For sure, those are some of your favorites, or at least
Yeah.
your best. So hiking Mount McKay in the fall, can you describe maybe what it's like to see all the beautiful colors of the leaves changing to our audience? I know it's hard to grasp, but kind of your first reaction, what did you think?
Like the spring is actually very good over here. I had not experienced the spring before, so I would say that post summer spring is the best season among all, and you can see a lot of colors. I had seen like it'll be green. The flowers will initially looks green, then it turns to yellow, then it turns to orange, which is actually looks like an autumn. Then it eventually the colors like they're so bright, and you'll obviously have not seen back in India or where I'm coming from. So it was good experience for me, and I've never been to anywhere apart from Gulf, which is too hot there. So this was quite a good adventure, and the spring, I just love spring, to be frank.
Awesome. So we have another question. Are winters harsh compared to other parts of Canada?
Yeah,
So that's a great
that's true.
question. Winters in Canada vary depending, of course, where you are.
Yeah.
We're certainly not the coldest part of Canada. If you do go further south in Ontario, they can be a bit warmer, but it's weird. So in Thunder Bay, we have something called like a dry winter. So it can be cold, it can be windy, but you can bundle up for it. Whereas in Southern Ontario, they have something called a humid or a wet winter. And so once you get cold, it's like bone chilling. So it depends. But the
Yeah.
thing is, the most positive note is the fact that when winter does come along and you do have to gear up for it, you have to buy your jacket, you have to buy your hats and your mitts, you can dress for the weather. So you can always add extra layers. Actually, something that I've always heard from students, particularly from some of the really hot regions in India, are that they prefer dressing for the cold winter compared to their extremely hot summers where they just can't catch a break of the heat. So it's extremely hot in the summer, and they just, to an extent, you can't undress any further and cool down.
As you said, it's extremely hot in the. It depends on which region you're coming from. If you're coming from Western India, like Rajasthan, which is a province there, it's too hot there. So you can say that, and the winters are cold there as well. But when you go towards the north and like Jammu Kashmir, towards Punjab and Haryana, there it's kind of not too hot. It depends again. It's not like always it's hot, always it depends. And from southern India, it's always Bangalore is where I'm coming from. Like Bangalore has always temperatures between 15 and 25. So I would not say it's too hot or too cold. But again, when winter comes and it becomes like the mercury level slightly dips, but it does not reach less than 10 degrees Celsius. So if you're coming to Canada, I would suggest that I had taken the winter jackets back when I came back, but I thought those jackets were like not good enough, to be frank. Why? Because Northwestern Ontario, the year 2018 which I came in, it was, if I'm not wrong, I heard from people this was the worst winter in almost 20 years, because it was minus 45 degrees. If I'm not wrong, I had taken a screenshot as well of that. So it was too cold. But those jackets which I had bought from India were not that good for Canadian winter, actually.
For sure, yeah. And
So
that's something
I
we
would
always
suggest
recommend.
that. Yeah, I would suggest that taking a winter jacket over here is actually a good option.
Definitely, yeah. And when we hear students, when we are helping them with their packing lists and helping them in that transition to their home country, to Thunder Bay or to Aurelia, we always recommend that, bring your jacket from India or bring your jacket from your home country. And it will certainly, you can wear it whenever you want to warm up a bit. But when it comes to a winter jacket, be prepared that you will buy one in Canada, because of course Canadian retailers are used to the winter, and they prepare for that. So they sell jackets that are going to keep you nice and warm throughout the season. So even when it does get to the coldest temperatures, or if we have harsh winters, like you were saying, 2018, I do remember that was a pretty cold winter.
Exactly.
But you can dress for it, so that's the nice thing. But I always recommend, when students think, "Oh, I'm gonna get away with bringing my warmest jacket from India," and I'm like, "You're probably gonna have to buy one in Canada."
That's true. Sure. That's true. Yeah.
So chatting more about like that whole journey and the process of deciding about coming to Canada. What made you want to study abroad in Canada first, and then also what made you want to pick Lakehead?
There are a lot of good things, to be frank. Living in Canada is like I wanted to experience the winter and snow. I had been to Jammu and Kashmir like in 2015, 2016, but it was like not compared to Canada. It's like not like the snow, like it's completely covered in snow there as well. But Canadian winter is totally different from the Jammu Kashmir winter. Why? Because as I said before, it dips to -45, -20. There I had just been for a couple of weeks, and that's the one reason I can say. And there are a lot of other reasons, good reasons, which I can give. I guess Canada is the most happiest country in the world, with most peaceful country in the world, if I'm not wrong. And and the job opportunities here are quite good after US, if I'm not wrong. Sure. And I was working for a Canadian company before. Back in India, it was a Canadian firm. So I had chats with my ex-manager, that I wanted to pursue. And I had a list of countries which I had plans to go. Then they suggested that you're opting for the good one. It's not wrong. There are a lot of good opportunities here, and the universities are good over here and everything. So, and one reason choosing Lakehead was there were competitive fee structure for me. It was and also one last reason was that they had no criteria for any experienced people. Like there are certain universities where if you have more than 2 years experience, or if
you were saying that's okay. You were saying that in other universities there's 2 years experience, like the cap for some of them. And during those, so speaking to that a little bit more, obviously our admissions committee will take into consideration work experience, but it won't affect you negatively in the sense that there's a cap on it or anything. And then also chatting more about, I know that you mentioned that we're highly regarded for being a peaceful country and a happy country. I know that there's a few world rankings out there that actually put Canada in the top 10 most peaceful and the top 10 happiest countries. So that definitely speaks to why our students typically enjoy studying here, and obviously why Canadians enjoy living here. And
one more point to add is that, one more point I can add is, if you're planning for permanent residency over here, your Canadian education adds for your points in the CRC immigration calculator. So that's very important as well. If you're planning for staying in Canada and try to gain the permanent residency, and that's a very important point as well to add.
For sure, and so that's something that the IRCC actually fully recognizes, that if students are applying for a permanent residency, they actually get what we would call as like points towards that PR based on the fact that they completed a degree in Canada at a Canadian institution. And obviously there's the opportunity for students to also get postgraduate work permits so that they can at least try it out for a couple of years. It varies based on how long you studied in Canada. So you all either get 1 year permit or a 3-year permit.
It depends on how many months you study.
Exactly, and then once you've tried it out, if you fall in love working in Canada, obviously students will like to pursue the PR, and having the work experience, having the Canadian degree all plays into that. And so it's definitely something students take into consideration. So now that we've kind of narrowed it down, like you've picked Canada for several reasons, obviously, and then you picked Lakehead for some specific reasons as well. about the process of actually leaving your hometown of Bangalore and coming to Thunder Bay. What were you most excited for in that process?
Maybe because I had never come out of my country, like never stayed alone, and usually by myself. I was very excited for that, and moreover, with respect to academics, I wanted to I was very much excited in learning new technologies.
Mm-hmm.
So I would suggest that as an option, and a lot of other things I was not that fond of coming to the excitement, being nervous as well. I was like initially it was like homesick kind of thing. I'd heard like people becoming homesick. Initial days I was homesick for probably you can say a month or two, not more than that.
Mm-hmm.
Then I used to call, obviously, my parents video call and stuff. Initial couple of months, I was like homesick, and my parents are already like, "How's my child doing?" and stuff like that. Why? Because you're all by yourself in another country, which is like overseas, and India is not like it's very far from here. So, and the second part is the cooking, like because I was not that fond of cooking. And initial couple of months, I was like, I remember making food. I was like, first month was like really horrible for me. Because I had some burnt food and stuff. Because initially I was unable to cook. So initial days were quite tough, to be frank. But I had quite a bunch of friends over here and roomies, good one, from different countries, to be frank. They helped me a lot. I learned from them. So I can add a few points, good points, like stating there were experienced people as well living with me. So I learned a lot of good things from them. So
for sure,
all this nervousness, all the negativeness came out as a good points to me.
So I know that you mentioned you're most nervous about living on your own, but also tied into that is cooking your meals. Would you call yourself a good cook now, or a chef even?
Not chef, I can say, but I can cook well. That's for sure. Indian cuisine as well. Yeah.
Perfect. So I just want to address some of the questions. I know I wanted to stick on the topics that we were on. So there's one. Can you explain about job fairs? Is that the same as India? As many huge companies come on campus for interviews and co-ops. So I can explain a bit about job fairs, and then if you want to chime in, Mohammed, you're more than welcome to. So our Student Success Center here on campus, both in Thunder Bay and Aurelia, we do host on-campus job fairs. So
yeah, true.
For example, on Thunder Bay, we host 2 general career fairs, and then we have one for engineering and one for education.
Yeah.
And of course, we are looking to expand that too. But we typically see hundreds of employers coming onto campus over a multi-day period. And those employers they have current job openings, they have summer positions, they have part-time jobs. There's a variety. So to speak from experience, when I was a student at Lakehead, I know it sounds like why would education or why would engineering have a job fair? I actually was at the education job fair, and I was not in teachers college or anything. I did a business degree, and I got quite a few opportunities, and I heard from quite a few employers within the education sector that they were also looking for business graduates, and they are looking for computer science graduates, because you have to think of the broader company as that. Yes, of course, they're recruiting teachers at the education fair, but then to manage the overall company, the school board, they need IT specialists, they need marketing people, they need management. So it's very interesting to see all the opportunities that were on campus.
So I would say that the career fair over here is quite different compared to India. Why? Because companies over there just like come in and have different tests, like technical. Initially, they have qualitative tests, quantitative tests, and probably a technical interview, not technical test. Then they'll be shortlisted for an interview. Over here, it's completely different. Like as I've been to career fairs over here, you just need to talk to people over there. There'll be companies, employees being visiting, as you said, in the career fair. You just need to take a contact from them, and just email them, or just ask what are the opportunities available and what technologies they're working on. For example, if you're in IT field, so what technologies are you working on, and what's my scope, and will I be able to apply, and what. So it's completely different compared to India. Why? Because Indian colleges or universities, there the companies come into university and they hire. Over here it's completely different. You need to job hunt. Basically, you need to hunt down the job, and you just need to contact people, increase your network. I can say that's the only best option. That's the only best bet. And if you have anything with research with respect to your professor, you can just ask him that, stating that are there any research companies being involved as that. So it totally depends on you and how you're hunting down the job. That's what I can say. And obviously you need to apply online on Indeed and many other websites, on LinkedIn and stuff. And that's the only way as of now I know.
For sure, yeah. And I know that our Student Success Center, they've recently opened the Career Zone on the Thunder Bay campus, which sees resume workshops, which is peers reviewing other peers' resumes to make sure that they're nice and polished and they're ready to see the employers. And then they also do mock interviews. They bring individual employers into the Career Zone that are offering jobs. But like you mentioned, so in India, it sounds like employers typically will come and take the entire candidate pool and actually start doing the technical tests, the interviews, all that sort of stuff. Whereas in Canada, it's more focused on making the connection first, giving them your resume, and then of course they'll review your resume for your qualifications, if you meet their standards, all that sort of stuff. And then they'll reach out to you. And the most important, I would say, for Canadians is the interview. So sitting down and meeting your employer and actually getting to know that person and asking them the important questions that are pressing. And then comes the technical tests if they're required. Not many jobs, not many part-time jobs required. I know careers certainly.
Yeah, true. Why? Because recently I had come across a couple of interviews. First round was like not technical one. They actually spoke to me one-on-one, like how am I, what am I doing, what's my interest. Like they wanted to know more about me, and they asked my past experience and stuff, like, and what's my plan. So basically it's not like you just, if you want a job, they'll throw in a bunch of technical questions. Initially it's one-on-one, they'll ask you. But in India, it's other way around. Like HR interview is probably at the last. But here, what I saw as of now is like just like 2 or 3 interviews from past 2 months. I can say that you need to first have a one-on-one, then technical interviews.
For sure, yeah. And so another very, very popular question was regarding co-op. So did you participate in co-op in your program?
Yes, I did apply for co-op, but I did not crack through in any of the job hunt over here. But one of my friend did, and he did for 4 months, if I'm not wrong. One of my friend did 8 months in Waterloo.
Okay.
But not from this university, from Hamilton.
A different one.
Different one.
So I can explain a bit about co-op then for the viewers. I know is a really popular question. Sort of what is co-op? How do we get co-op? Where do we do co-op? So that answer is extremely broad, of course. So the cooperative education program here at Lakehead is built into several programs. So for example, there are computer science co-ops where if you meet the admission requirements into the actual co-op within that program, so typically there's a merit base, so whatever your grade average is. And then you do have some course requirements and other requirements. They do vary based on what program. Once you are accepted into that portion and you meet those requirements, then you actually get to look for the co-op experiences within the companies that you're interested in. So we've seen students do co-ops at IBM, Bombardier, Hydro One, Honda. We've seen some really amazing BlackBerry, some really, really cool co-ops from our students. We actually have a student in my office doing a co-op. She's studying economics, and she's doing data analysis on our social media and our digital channels. So it really varies based on what program you're in. But if you are looking to learn more about co-op, the admission requirements, you can actually visit lakeheadu.ca/COOP, which is co-op in a short form. And there's all the requirements listed there based on what program. So for the students that are watching that are interested in pursuing co-op, if you visit that website and you go to the tab that says for students, and then you go to your program, it will list all of the requirements. It will list past examples of where students have gone. But the flexibility of where you get to go is so important because we understand that you're going to be most successful in a co-op that you're truly passionate about or a role that you're passionate about. Of course, we help facilitate that. We have a co-op advisor and coordinator within the Student Success Center. But we really make sure that you are picking something or somewhere that you're interested in working for. So somebody asked, can we repeat the website address? For sure. I'll actually drop it in the comments as well. So it's lakeheadu.ca, and then it's /co-op. Let me just make sure that I got the spelling right there. Wants to autocorrect. Sorry, my apologies. So it is there in the chat now on Instagram Live, lakeheadu.ca /co-op. So now moving on, I would love to dive into academics. Obviously, computer science is a hot program right now for many students. It's a very diverse industry that you're going into, and it's a large industry and growing at that. So I always like to start, how did you end up picking your program?
To be frank, computer science back in bachelor's, my brother recommended me for electronics, but as he was into electronics and he was electrical design engineer, but I was more fond of computers and stuff, so I thought I'll be getting into gaming and stuff. And those days, if I'm not wrong, Java and Angular was at boom in 2011, 2010. So I was more like, I just researched a bit, not much to be frank, because it was just following my brother's footsteps. And during those days, Java was hot in the market in the software IT industry, and there was Infosys company back in Bangalore, which was being built a lot of, it's like 3 or 4 acres of land on that, like a very big campus. So I just had a few points, then I opted for computer science back in bachelor's, and as I said, it was computer science was boom with Java and Angular. And choosing my program over here in Lakehead Masters was because I was coming from experience background, and there were a lot of good stuff which about the program, which like a lot of good courses from my experience was cloud computing, which I did as a subject when I was exposed to AWS. I was not exposed to AWS before. I was just working with Tomcat and the other servers, JBoss and stuff. So I can say cloud computing, machine learning, and deep learning. Then data science, and which I learned a new language, which is R, which I was not familiar with. So a lot of good courses. If you give your dedication, if you learn a lot, obviously you'll in your field you'll be learning more technologies, and as I said, learning new servers and techniques. So these are the points which I can add right now for choosing your program. And a lot of good subjects which you can choose from, and if you wanted to learn, you just need to explore more and do all the assignments by yourself, and try to explore other techniques as well, which my professor did encourage. Over here I saw a couple of professors, like a lot of them, like which I have worked with, like they encourage the critical thinking and to solve different problems and different techniques, I can say.
For sure. So we have a great question. Have you been in course-based or project-based program?
I'm in project-based.
Okay, awesome. So then obviously we've chatted about now why you picked computer science back in your undergrad. And then now we've also discussed kind of what the program involves. In your personal opinion, what do you like most about the program?
Learning new technologies, as I said before. Again, it depends on you how you're taking that, and if you want to learn or not. Like, it depends totally. Do you want to explore the technology or not? I can see that as a point. And if you're doing any research with respect to your project, you'll learn a lot of good things. I was involved in 2 of the research-based projects, to be frank, and one was live ECG tracking. That was a group-based project, but I can see I was working more on an iOS-based app with IoT sensors, which I did most of the major part, and I did work on a lot of programming stuff. So I can say that live ECG with respect to research. And I was able to build a fully automated car, self-driving car, from a final year project, which I was struggling a lot for, I guess, 30 days or more. But then eventually I was able to crack through, and after a couple of months I did present a demo as well. It was
Awesome.
because of the COVID-19, I was not able to present the complete demo during after March 15, but I was able to present at least 50 to 70% of the demo which I had given. Then I shared a video of the demo which I did present, and self-driving car was actually a really good project, and for me.
Awesome. Do you have any photos of that project or the ECG
yes, I do
project?
actually. I do have it over here itself. I'll just show you. Camera. Yeah.
Awesome. So that car right there, you had run and you had actually coded it to be self-driving and autonomous on its own.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, it's certainly interesting to hear that within your program itself, obviously, you're doing some cool research opportunities. And on top of the self-driving car, you mentioned that you did some live ECG tracking, and that was a group project, of course. Moving on to kind of, how do I phrase it? So now you're at Lakehead. You've started the program. You've done the whole journey, all that. Can you share a time where when you were at Lakehead, you kind of realized like you had made the right decision and that this was where you were meant to be?
Yeah, like as I said before, coming from experience background, I wanted to do masters, and I thought coming over to Canada was a good decision. And I wanted to do masters, and I wanted to explore new technologies. I guess I made the right decision. If I'm learning more, I'm exposed to new technologies, that would be a very good decision. If I'm not exposed, I'm just sticking to just one technology and just doing my masters and just getting out. That would not add a good option. And I would suggest meeting professors and getting involved, but Lakehead would add an additional a bunch of good points in your profile. So choosing, I can say it's a mixed reaction, to be frank right now. But if you're planning for masters, you should be firm. You should have a firm decision and direction, and you can see that I need to explore these things, and you know where my future is going, like with respect to future, like what you want from your future, and which role you're applying for. So if you're firm and if you wanna do masters, it's a very good decision.
Awesome. So I do want to take some time to answer questions. I know that we've been receiving quite a bit, but I didn't want to stray too far from the academics topic. So just give me 1 second to scroll through these. So I know that there's a few questions regarding September 2020 intake and whether like the method of delivery for courses. So what I can share to our audience, obviously due to COVID-19 or coronavirus, we have moved online for right now. So spring and summer courses are fully online by Lakehead University, as well as, if I'm not mistaken, all Canadian institutions are online right now, and that's based on the advice from the government and the restrictions that have been put in place to help stop the spread of the virus. Right now, our senior management team is evaluating the situation and monitoring it extremely closely so that they can make a really well-informed decision on the fall intake. Right now, we know 100% courses will be offered, so programs are going to move forward in the fall intake. What we're evaluating is actually the fact of whether those courses will be delivered online, whether they'll be delivered in person, whether there will be a mix of that model. That decision has not been made yet, simply because it's too early to say. We don't want to come out and say it today when there's still so many months until the actual intake begins. We understand that students have a lot of decisions to make in the time, and they have a lot to plan. So what we're encouraging students to do at this time is still move forward with your application. Our admissions teams are still reviewing applications. They're still accepting documents. They're still working with admissions committees to get those answers out and send out more offer letters. And then once you hear back, we encourage you to still accept your offer, confirm with the deposit, and then hold your seat, because if we are willing to hold your seat no matter what, you need to be willing to obviously hold it yourself with that money. And then we have already put policies and procedures into place here so that if there's, for any reason, due to COVID-19 travel restrictions, you're not able to join us here on campus, we will look into the next steps, whether that's refunding it or maybe moving your intake date to a future date. So I'm going to scroll back to see if we have some more questions here. So a student got admissions into the Thunder Bay Computer Science program, and they would like to know about jobs and when can they expect in PR in Canada. So if you do complete full-time studies for more than, I believe it's 16 months, you actually get a postgraduate work permit of up to 3 years. And with that postgraduate work permit, you can live and fully work in Canada full-time for up to 3 years. During that process, we typically see international students that are interested in pursuing permanent residency, working towards that PR and your Canadian degree, as well as your work experience in Canada, will actually give you bonus points towards gaining PR. It varies depending on what your application is, so what your background looks like, what degree you did. There's so many different varying factors, and of course Lakehead University doesn't control what the Canadian government does with regards to immigration. So if you do have any more questions about immigration or PR, I do encourage you to visit the Canadian government's website and explore IRCC, and there's plenty of information online and kind of gives you an outline of steps of what you'll need to do to gain that PR. So we have some more questions here. So there's one, can you put the link in the comment section? I'm not sure what you're referring to, but if you want to just clarify, I'd be happy to put said link in the comments, or I can get you to follow up. I know that there were quite a few questions regarding the structure of the computer science program and programming, available courses, job opportunities after, career paths, all that sort of stuff. We actually hosted something called the Faculty Friday a few weeks ago now, and we had one of our chairs join us, and he chatted with us about computer science, and he dove into the industry relevant courses, some of the really popular courses, the structure of all the different programs. So of course there's thesis-based, project-based, course-based at the master's level, and then we touched on undergraduate, of course, too. So the question, or the link that we wanted in the comment section, was subjects of masters in computer science. So that's a really great question. The link is extremely long and I can't copy and paste it, but what I encourage you to do is, if you go to, I will type this one, lakeheadu.ca, and then you go /programs. Once you're on there and you actually go to computer science, make sure you select whatever level you're pursuing, so master's in this case, and then in that department overview, it will list some of the topics that they have, or the study areas. In the same breath, I certainly encourage you to watch our Faculty Friday. It's live on our YouTube channel right now. It's under the playlist Lakehead International Lives, and you'll learn lots of information. Can you comment on job opportunities during the pandemic? So speaking of job opportunities, we're going to have to let Mohammed go very soon here, because I understand that he has an interview today at 11 for a future job opportunity. So certainly jobs are still available even during the pandemic, and we're seeing new students getting hired. And the Canadian government has put into place a lot of supports for students that may have been slightly affected by this for job ops. I can't obviously speak on behalf of employers because everyone's in a different situation and everyone's in a unique situation. But we definitely have supports into place to support students, and I hope that we have a successful job opportunity for Mohammed coming up soon here.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah.
Alrighty, so I'm just gonna look at a few more questions. Be mindful, we'll probably end up here in like a minute or so we can let him go prep for his interview at 11. Is fall 2020 still possible on campus? So great question. It's a common one right now. Right now, we are reviewing fall 2020. We will certainly be offering full courses and program start terms, but what we're reviewing is that method of delivery. So whether it's going to be in person on campus or whether it's going to be online off campus. Those decisions have not been made simply because it's too early to say, but I can assure you that our senior management team is monitoring the situation extremely closely. And whenever we do make that decision, it will be posted on our website as well. For any of our applicants or anyone on our mailing list, those sort of updates will come out, as well on our social media channels. So we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and for those of you in China, we're on Weibo, Youku, and WeChat. So all of those channels will be used to announce sort of major updates like that. So I'm just being mindful of the time. I know I said that I would let you go so you could prep for your interview. So I wish you luck. I want to thank you for joining us. Thank you to our viewers for joining us.
Yeah.
I will encourage those viewers that are interested in joining tomorrow's Faculty Friday. We will be sitting down with a few special guests from psychology and diving into the psychology program here at Lakehead. If you missed any of our previous programs or Faculty Fridays, Monday meetups, Wednesday weeklies, all that sort of stuff, it is on our YouTube channel, Lakehead University, and the playlist is Lakehead International Lives. Otherwise, I'll say bye for now, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.